Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Big Jiu-Jitsu Show. I'm Rob,
I'm Randy.
and we don't have anybody. It's all right. We've had a really good string of interviews so far, so it's kind of funny. It is about time we just had a you and I chat about just jiu-jitsu because I mean, we do give our opinions during these interviews, but now the listeners have to listen to us and not just the guest. But
True. That's true.
yeah. But yeah, so originally the way that all the plans worked out, Randy was going to cover down on one interview, and it might have swapped out where I was going to cover down on an interview because I'm currently in Arizona with the Globetrotters camp, and Randy unfortunately can't join me this year, but he is coming to a camp at one point. And I know
Absolutely.
James Hoffman hit me up and he said, let's look at Heidelberg coming up, this next Heidelberg camp out in Germany. I think that'd be a really good one for you to enjoy, especially.
I've never been to Europe, so we'll have to look at that. I've been to other countries, but I've never been to Europe. So that'd be awesome.
Yeah, be cool. We go a couple days early, so you're not just like, you know, get there, camp, leave, done. You get to see a little bit of Europe too. But no, I was, but before we started the episode, I was laughing with Randy and I said, you can tell it's a jiu-jitsu camp because I'm staying in an Airbnb with a bunch of other jiu-jitsu people. We're hanging out by the pool. I'm trying to do homework and then just devolves into us showing each other jiu-jitsu moves because somebody brought up wrist locks and mirror locks. And I'm like, let's talk about wrist locks and mirror locks. And that's truly it. So that's how you know you
That
get a bunch of jujitsu people together.
that's the only time it's acceptable for high level jiu-jitsu practitioners or ranked jiu-jitsu practitioners to train in jiu-jitsu moves with socks on. It's the only time it's allowed. Is if you're on a carpet, and add like a impromptu training session like that. But those are the best trips, man. I'm totally jealous I'm not there.
Yeah, well, like I said, we'll remedy that at some point and have you come in with the group and get some good training in. I mean, you already get good training in, so there's this yeah, this will just be a bonus with you coming through and getting to explore and stuff like that. But um I feel like I kind of did like a camp to run up for this because you're training multiple times a day at these things. So I had to like have a camp for the camp so I'm not like worn out like it
hmm
was last time. I was dead to the world when that happened.
Yeah, I think sometimes that's how it goes too. Like you have to kind of prepare and kind of start upping your volume and preparation because when I went to the Origin LEO immersion camp, what was that last year, year before? I can't remember anymore, but I
Yeah.
think it was last year, 2024. It was a lot of volume of sessions between the defensive tactics type of training and then the evening jiu-jitsu and all the stuff in between and it's every day and it's a blast. You love it, but your body starts to feel it if you don't prepare for that. So yeah, what like were you doing did you do two a days or did you just train more days a week in preparation? What'd you do to get ready for it?
I was just training more days a week and kind of like up the intensity of my rolls because I kind of figured it'd be like the whole, make something short and intense. I can generally like hang on and stall out and do my lazy jujitsu against, you know, most participants because it's not nobody's really rolling to the death. I think the only time I really had those issues at camps is when you get like a really game like blue belt or purple belt and they're like it's a black belt, let me see if I can beat the black belt's ass, but that's few and far between, to be honest with you. Did get a little bit of good cauliflower ear from a headbutt. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but he led with his head while I'm sitting in guard and missed my face but got my ear instead, so that was a kind of a nice little bubble on the ear. But usually I mean I've been tightening up my diet and all this other stuff in the last few months, and the drilling and the cardio's really come together. So I feel like, you know, maybe just more of what I should have been doing versus like a full on camp, but like with work and like work and everything like really gets in the way. So you got to do like some extracurricular stuff as well outside of your jujitsu to get ready for, you know, a bunch of rolling basically. Like they're 3 hour open mats and then classes and then, like people want to hang out and stuff. So it's a delicate balance in my opinion where like I get want a lot of people want to see their friends and party and stuff, but I'm trying to pull as much jujitsu out of this as possible.
Yeah, I don't, and that's my thing about going to some camps. Is I'm not a partier anymore. I don't really drink alcohol very often at all anymore. If I do, it's a one beer and I'm done. I've become one of those nerds that drinks non-alcoholic beers just to scratch that itch every now and then. But it's just not what I'm into. So if I were to go to a camp, yeah, I'd want to, like you said, just kind of really wring the towel to squeeze every last drop of jiu-jitsu that I could get out of that trip. That's why I'm there. The immersion camp I went to was everybody was pretty much there for the same purpose. It was a bunch of cops who were looking to train, so it didn't turn into a big party as much. Maybe some of the cabins had it, ours didn't. Um, but no, I agree. I just finished up. It's not jiu-jitsu related per se, but everything I do is to supplement jiu-jitsu or law enforcement training. So I just did finish up Squattober.
Oh yeah,
Um,
tell me about
so
that.
it was 5 days a week of squats. It was programmed. It's supported by Sore Necks that provides a lot of top-notch fitness equipment. But there's a strength and conditioning coach that writes the training, and it's Monday through Friday basically. And you could use the weekends to make up, but the scheduling is scheduled for 5 training days a week, and they drop them Monday through Friday. Different variations of squats. They still have upper body movements as well, and then some accessory stuff. But the primary lift is at some variation of a squat, so front, back. They don't do overhead, thank God, because I don't have the mobility for that shit. But Zercher squats, all you name it, they put them in there. Bulgarian split squats, which are always brutal. And then it culminates with like a PR day that you try to beat your previous PR. And I hit 365 on back squat. So, uh,
Nice.
I only weigh 155 these days because I'm like you. I cleaned up my nutrition and kind of cut up a little bit. And so I'll take 365 at 155 body weight. And I have a video to prove it. I posted it. I didn't want anybody questioning whether I actually did it. So you can count my damn plates. But that took even before I did Squattober and committed to doing that, there were preparatory programs I did to prepare for the volume because 5 days a week of squatting, if you just dive into that, it's going to kick your ass. And I wanted to still stay consistent enough with jiu-jitsu. So I basically cut from 4 days a week down to three for the whole month of October. And so now I'm looking to kick it back up. And I rolled against a dude. I wish you were there, man, because you talked about preparing to go and do a camp and training with other people and
Right.
it's different, right? We had a guy come for Halloween open mat TFTC the other day, and he's a brown belt. He's a cop too down in Florida, and I guess he runs some tournaments out there and competes a lot. And man, dude was a beast, and it kind of woke my eyes up, opened my eyes up a little bit to the fact that if I ever decide I want to compete, I'm gonna have some work to do, just because there's different intensity to it. And I think that's the beautiful thing about what you're doing, being out there at the Globetrotters camp, and you're gonna have hundreds of people that you could potentially roll with, and different styles, different backgrounds, different gyms. Um, I think that's one of the biggest benefits of going to one of those things is you can't just be complacent and comfortable rolling with the same people doing the same shit, you know?
No, you're absolutely right. And that's something I've learned over the time with it too, is like, um I find it now, mind you, like things are a little different now. My weight loss stuff has been kind of interesting because I'm no longer an ultra heavyweight and I'm barely a super heavyweight now. So I'm like actually floating close to like hitting that under 100 kilograms weight class. It's weird, man. So like now I have to be mindful about some of the people because you used to be, I'll just roll with anybody.
Hmm.
And now there's like not a weight discrepancy, but stuff I have to be mindful of with that, especially as I'm getting older. Um, but you do get like you can't slack off. You have to make like you have to treat everybody not like you're gonna kill them, but that they have the potential to do like just beat the tar out of you. So you want to give a good roll. You want to give a good impression, especially like, I get to roll with other black belts here too, and I don't want to be like a wishy-washy kind of half-assed black belt.
Yep.
Want to make sure I give like real good rolls and stuff like that, and I'm fortunate a lot of the guys that get to train with like throughout the week, either at the judo gym that I go to or the fight house that I go to on base. Like I get a bunch of monsters that just try to that put me in like bad positions and stuff like that, and really make me pay for it. So I'm not looking to win a camp belt or anything, but it's just
Right.
getting to learn different stuff and then. Like you said, I don't roll with the same people every day now, like at this camp. So I have to like maybe I'm not going to start on my butt like I always do because I have to make sure I'm not getting just beat up. So it's interesting. I'm looking forward to it to kind of see like what the progress has been in about a year.
Well,
Feel
I
like
was
I've been
gonna say it's a good measurement, especially if you talk about like I was talking to and we could probably have him on the show some point. I think he'd be a good guest based on his background, but the guy I'm talking about, that I rolled with the other day at the open mat, we talked for a while after the open mat was over. We had two really, really, really fun rolls, man. It was a blast. Got to push each other quite a bit. And I think it's you've got different tiers of not tiers because I don't want to say one's better than the other, but different kind of
Right.
categories. And I feel like we've talked about this where you have your hobbyists. It's not that that's a bad thing, but there's different focuses of attention there. But you're a hobbyist, and you have a hobbyist competitor, which is like the guy that does like local level tournaments and still trains more for satisfaction and enjoyment, not so much to be some high level person. And then you've got like that those competitors that are really trying to climb the rungs of the ladder and rankings, and they're trying to make money as a competitor. That's what they do. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I think that if you're a hobbyist or hobbyist competitor, it's something that you can do to kind of supplement or replace or augment going to competitions if that's not your cup of tea is go to open mats, go to camps like you're at, and you can measure your growth as a jiu-jitsu athlete or student, whatever you want to call yourself, against people that you don't normally roll with. Because when you're with the same people, you whether you want to admit it or not, you become very comfortable knowing what their style is and where you can rest, where you can't, where you can kind of cheat a little bit. Like there were passes that I had to like back off from against this guy because he was really good at getting underneath me, underneath my hips and connecting to my legs and setting up like saddle and different leg entanglements. He was really good at finding those things. So some of my passing left me vulnerable for that. So I had to kind of change gears, and I think that's a really good way for people that don't compete to still test themselves and measure their progress, if that makes sense.
No, no, that absolutely does make sense because, the competition isn't the end all be all because not everybody wants to compete. And I honestly don't think everybody has to compete. I mean, like you said, we've talked about that to
Mm.
death, basically. However, you still need to find ways to challenge yourself. And,
Yes.
this is one of the few arts where it's very hard to get away with the sensei that hides in the corner and they're like, bro, that sensei, he'll just whoop your ass. Like, when's the last time you saw him on the mats? Like,
Yep. Yep.
never.
Yep.
We just like you have to prove it at some point. Now, like if you're injured, I totally get it. Like I'll never hold that against anybody. And then, but you still have to be out there. You still have to like lead by example and do stuff. So, you have to continuously do something to improve. And I mean, like if you want to talk about getting older and stuff, the talent pool for like heavyweight black belts in their 60s is not very big. So it's not like
Right.
I can just go to a local tournament and get like 10 of them,
Yeah.
just ready to go. Like I'm not 60 yet. Don't trust me, it's okay. But what I'm saying is like eventually it's going to hit that point. So how do you continue to grow? How do you continue to challenge yourself?
Yep.
And so like you said, open mats, camps, just dropping in when you travel, getting different perspectives. I'll if I'm lucky enough and it's not, going to break the bank, sometimes even get a private lesson from like if it's a like a multiple degree black belt or whatever, just to get a different perspective or even chat with them. So, but you're still not allowed to wear socks on the mats, no matter how many private lessons you do.
No.
Only Mike Ferreter, General Ferreter, is allowed to wear socks on the mats, and because I'm not going to argue with that guy.
Well, and it's, I think that's the value of hosting open mats at your gym if you run a gym too, is it's not, some people feel weird about it. I don't think we should charge mat fees for open mats because your students are benefiting from the presence of people they don't normally roll with for exactly the reasons we just outlined. And so it's still worth the price of admission to host those to allow your students to expand their horizons and apply their skill sets and challenge themselves against people they don't typically roll against. And the side bonus of that could be that maybe somebody is looking for a new place to train. Maybe they just moved to the area. Maybe they have some career change and they're looking for somewhere to go. Well, now they get indoctrinated into your gym and see your culture, and if it's a good fit, they go there. People change gyms. Like the whole Krianchi thing is bullshit, in my opinion. I mean, this 2025, the United States of America, right? We're not in Brazil. It's not a if you want people to be loyal to your product, then give out a good fucking product. You know what I mean? And also understand that sometimes it's just not a good fit for some people. Every gym has a unique culture. Um, and so I think so, and then the journey changes for people. I mean, how long have you been doing jiu-jitsu total?
Oh my God. I would say like minus a 3 year break, like I would say 17 years with that 3 year break.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. 17 years. I think the
Yeah.
longest break I had was about a year, but 17 years of jiu-jitsu training. So you and I are in the same boat. And look at how much you and I have changed as individuals, but also as jiu-jitsu athletes. Like our game, our purpose, our everything, your perspective shifts as you go through the journey of jiu-jitsu. So it's actually impressive if you keep somebody their entire journey without being a cult and making people
Yeah.
stay. Like if you leave, well, whatever. That's all that's bullshit. But I think open mats are a great way to let people come in and experience your style, that you experience their style, and everybody benefits. You know what I mean? There's a Sunday service thing. Have you seen that in the area?
Yeah, yeah, we were when Jack was on the episode, we were talking a bit about that. Yeah. And I
I'm
mean, they're
looking.
all over the place.
I want to go. I want to go to a couple of those. I know I convinced a couple of my buddies to go with me. I think November 30th is at Shell Shock. But there's a bunch of them coming up. So if you want to come with us, man,
I'd love to.
we'll go drop in on one. Because that's a great example, right? I mean, that's a whole dude. They're all over. They go to all these different gyms. That's such an awesome concept. So
No, it really is. And I mean, like, that is, I appreciate that they do it on Sundays, and here's why, because I feel like open mats are always Saturdays.
yeah,
Just a general rule of thumb. And I agree with you completely about the open mat thing because, you know, no coach has all the answers.
nope.
Like none of them. Absolutely not. And it's arrogant in my opinion to think that you do and that you are the only one. I had a black belt tell me once, is like, were there any black belts at the seminar you went to? And I was like, well, yeah. It's like, well, they're not real black belts then because they don't need. Well, I was like, what the fuck, dude? That's
That's
not
so
how that
stupid.
worked. But I mean, that was a long, long, long time ago. I was just kind of amazed by it. But it's you're supposed to keep learning and stuff like that. And like you said, how are you going to expose your guys to like other gyms? And then like I think it makes the community better as well because it's not like North Carolina does have a really like I think has a really 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 great problem in the fact that there are so many open mats and everybody is so welcoming that you can't hit all of them realistically in a month.
Right.
It's so good, but like and I've never run into any gyms where I'm like at least in this area where I'm just kind of put off by them as far as being welcoming. Everybody's been very welcoming. It's very nice. But that also, like you said, that's the main goal is like to help expose your people. And then, if people want to say like, hey, we're not gonna have open mat this weekend, go find another gym
Hmm.
to go roll at and get some experience or do whatever
Absolutely.
or like do it. It's fine. And I mean, it's not tournaments, but you're still going to get some competitive roles. But yeah, the Sunday service stuff, absolutely. I do want to jump in on that. I will be in town for that. I will be in town for that one because it's like right after Thanksgiving, I believe. So I need an
Yeah.
excuse to work off the turkey.
What I did is they did a limited release pre-sale on a rash guard, and the design just looks sick. And I'm like, all right, this is how I'm gonna make myself commit to going to one. I'm gonna buy the rash guard because I
Yeah,
won't wear it if I haven't gone to the event. Like that just seems cheesy. You know what I mean? So now
yeah.
I even messaged the dude. I'm like, hey, now I've got to go to one of your events because I just bought one of these damn rash guards. So, um, but I think you got to find whatever it is. I mean, I'm gonna compete. I'm gonna. I don't know if I'm gonna dive back in headstrong. I'll definitely stay a hobbyist competitor at most, but I am going to compete again. It's just a matter of finding the right time and the
Yeah.
right. I for sure it'll be the next Battle of the Badges in North Carolina. So I'll put that out on the air. I will compete in that event. Um, but I want to find maybe one or two more that I can use as preparation for that before then. So, but I think that minus that, this Sunday service and similar open mats like that are just a fantastic way to keep yourself honest. And then sometimes you gotta find a way to coax yourself to eliminate any chance of an excuse. So dropping $50 on a rash guard that otherwise will just waste away because I'll be looking at it in shame every time I see it. If I didn't actually partake, it will be a good way for me to force myself to go. So
Do the old skateboarding poser thing, like that, which also really confused the shit out of me. Is like, oh, you have a certain brand skateboard company. Do you have that board? Well, you're a poser then.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Fuck, dude.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that's funny. So yeah, now you're gonna have to do it. I am
Yep.
going to forego buying the rash guard until I go, just because I know like because the pressure from you. is already enough for me to be there for it. So
We're gonna go there and there's gonna be a bunch of young dudes and they're gonna kick the shit out of us and we'll love it every minute of it. So
absolutely. Well, I'm gonna be prepared for it because I'm gonna take ibuprofen beforehand. It's gonna be
before
great.
you Yeah, man. Hey,
It,
I saw Bumpkin went to one and he's still alive, so we
oh,
should be okay.
yeah, we
Because
should be all right.
he's like us, man. He's been doing this for a long time. So he made it out of there alive. We're good to go.
Just let me tape all my fingers up first. I need my fingers. That's all I care about. Like I can wheel myself into work. I still need to type though. That's the problem. But no, I would absolutely be down to do it. Let's plan for the 30th, and then I don't know, maybe even a few listeners can join us.
Dude, let's
That'd be
make it a
cool.
big turnout. That'd be sweet.
Yeah, if you're
It's
listening,
already it's already a big turnout, I'm
yeah,
sure.
huge turnout. We're gonna bring all four people, from the
Yeah.
big jujitsu group. No, but
The retirement community is going to come in full force, man.
dude, I gotta say something though. So like when I was at another fight house and I have a purple belt, and, she's very dedicated to the art. Basically I give her not pep talks, but we have like a good like jujitsu conversation once a week about stuff. And it would be every morning at 6 a.m. because of her work schedule. I'd come in early and we'd roll and I'd just work on stuff with her. And then I'd get beat up by all the youngsters. One of the guys, Spence, he would call it the geriatric corner. Like when they come in and start class 6:30 and we're still drilling. And I remember like I got him, when we're sparring and rolling. I was like, the geriatric corner, huh? And he's like, am I wrong? I had to think for a second. I said, "Nah, actually, you're not. You're not wrong." So,
Unfortunately, in the jiu-jitsu community, we are old, dude. Like I
oh
feel like I'm
yeah,
still very much in my prime in terms of physical fitness, but in
yeah.
jiu-jitsu, we are old. I mean, we're in the masters. If we were to, how great would it be if we rented a retirement home van and just all rode out there together to the
Oh, that'd be great. Like, oh, it's funny too, because like I don't mean to like change the subject or whatever, but all the off the wall plans that I have or whatever, just for life and stuff like that. I was talking to my wife, and I was like, if we go to like a retirement community, like one of these like active playing pickleball all day type active communities, I was like, I need to find a place with a gym nearby so I can like go roll, at least 4 or 5 times a week. And she's like, you don't think you could start a club in the retirement community of grapplers? I said, absolutely fucking not. Like, there's no
That would,
way. There's
that would
no
be
way, man.
that would be amazing though. You have
I
to
mean,
come
I
up with
might,
some creative name for the gym too.
yeah, like, oh God, I don't know, brittle bone Brazilian jiu-jitsu or some shit
I
like
like it.
that.
I
But
like it.
it's
Yeah, I
pretty
like it,
good.
dude.
But
It is.
like now I have to like figure out the logistics of like warm-ups are 15 minutes, recovery is 1 hour, so like classes are like 2.5 hours long or some shit. But no, it's not bad. Like I just gotta figure it out. And I'm not like discounting like older grapplers or whatever because they're some of the
Mm-mm.
like honestly some of the best people I've rolled with because they know when they have to use that technique, and that technique's usually pretty freaking sharp. So I'm like love learning from anybody, but no, I just like the thought of like starting up a club, having a little, sign up board, or put the little fold out table in front of the gym, get like all these mats, and then like nobody shows up. So basically, you just watch me do gymnastica natural for 30 minutes by myself. Everybody's going to like get ready to play softball or something. But maybe, who knows? Things could change. I
It
mean, we're
could.
not old. We're older grapplers, but we're not
Yeah.
old.
No, 100%. I totally agree. I don't know how many old people you know that squat 5 days a week for an entire month. I'm still getting after it, bro.
That's a young man thing to do. Like, that's good. Especially
Uh,
what'd you say it was 350 something?
365.
God bless, dude.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
oh my. See, I'm now you're gonna make me math in public. That's pretty terrible. So yeah, that's well, I mean, it's well over twice your body weight.
It's
So
2.3, I think,
oh,
2.35%.
whoa, nice, dude.
Yeah.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No,
No big deal.
I think
No big deal.
I'd have to put on weight to even try to go for four. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
I'd
dude.
have to put on 20 or 30 pounds of mass to even think about trying to build myself to that. But it's still cool. I remember years ago, I just couldn't break that 300 mark. I just kept,
Yeah.
it was just in my head or something, you know. But now, fast forward several years and I'm back squatting 365, pretty happy with that. But so I keep fighting back against the father time, bro. Keep fighting. Um, but yeah, I'm super jealous you're out there at that camp. I'm sure you're gonna have a ton to bring back, and maybe you can pull some. some cool guests while you're there, man.
Well, that's kind of like I'll leave our audience with this. Like that's kind of the plan as well. Basically, I already put out feelers for people who'd want to give little video clips. I'm going to try to do something a little different, at least
Cool.
preliminarily, like in the I can't even say that word right. At least in the beginning. How about that? There you go. See, that's what happens. I'm showing my age. I can't even say words right. No, but like to put feelers out and stuff. And I know Jay Page has said he'd be interested, and I
Hell
know
yeah, dude.
Christian Galgert said he'd be interested, but it's a matter of
Nice.
scheduling. So like that's the whole other beast of the thing. But there's a ton of black belts here, and I'd love to get them on. So now it's just going to be me kind of just taking clips. I even brought the cool little microphones and stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's a very professional setup. We're gonna be doing well.
Well, if you do one with Jay, I definitely want to be part of that because
Oh
that guy is a phenomenal coach, and I've gone to his gym a few times, and that
yeah,
I got a lot of respect for that guy, and I think he'd be a fantastic interview because he's got so many years of experience and excuse me, competed in so many different formats and has developed so many high level athletes. Like, man, that'll be a fun episode. And Christian too. I've read his books. That'd be cool to.
yeah. Like for that, I'm trying to like make it so you and I can both do it. Not like I'm just gonna bogart everybody here by myself. Like this is it's a team effort here, man. You know, you gotta keep
Yeah.
the interviews are like, well, it's great, and I remember having to do them one like by myself with certain people. Like it's better to do like you and I on it. So
Hell yeah, man. But let me know. Let me know how some of those interviews, the little in micro interviews, the little video clips go, and definitely pick your brain on some things you learned when you get back.
absolutely, and so that's it. If you guys need me, because you're gonna hear this on Tuesday, shoot me messages if you have any requests or whatever. But that's truly it, and it's been another episode of the Big Jiu Jitsu Show. I'm Rob,
I'm Randy.
and we'll catch you guys next time.